back. Round 20 of the 28-game main event of the Scrabble Players Championship from South Bend, Indiana, coming your way next. Round 20 features Orry Swift against Khloe Fatsis. Two very strong players here. Orry, though, with a loss in his last game, now sits at 11-8. If Orry wants to make it into the final two, he's probably going to need to win his final 9 games in a row. And he has a tough opponent lined up in Khloe. It's do or die time for Orry, keeping his chances alive. Khloe at 13-6 is very much in contention here. A big game for both of these players. Let's get underway. Round 20, Khloe and Orry. And I'll say Khloe's going to be put to a test here. At a national championship, you play a diverse group of players with a diverse set of strengths and weaknesses. But Orry Swift plays a very unique brand of Scrabble. Orry, very cold, calculating, and loves defense. He will take you and wall you in any chance he can. A 30-point lead for Orry is all but game over if he has his way with the board. So Khloe, we've seen her adjust to different people on stream. She's going to have to play against a defensive whiz now and adjust her game accordingly. Khloe and Orry underway. Here we go. Let's have fun, Jared.
Yeah, this should be great. The players have started to separate themselves in this field. We have Mac alone at 16 wins, Ian alone in second at 15 wins, Seth alone in third place with 14 wins, and Khloe is one of 2 people at 13 wins, along with Joe, who we saw in the last game. And Khloe puts down Wiggier to start. I don't even think this is getting held, or is it? Yeah, she's leaning back. So I'm going to put you to the test, Matt. Would you have challenged this word here?
No, that's a word. Wiggier is a word. Wiggy's a 5 we know, and I'm pretty sure it's not a noun. Wiggier is indeed acceptable. Yep. So Wiggier 82. Khloe may or may not be on hold, but I'd be surprised if we see Orry challenge this. Orry, as I mentioned earlier on stream, one of just 3 players in the field who rated themselves on a scale from 1 to 10 preparedness as a 10. So Orry has been hitting the books hard with 2 young children at home. He has a lot of free time to read books, lists in between taking care of them. Wiggier, a word Orry should know, but you hate getting bingoed on the first turn in a do or die game. It's tough to let this one go, especially with OUUV on his rack.
Yeah, that one's tough. Wiggy is sort of like to be crazy, so to wig out is sort of how that word still remains in common usage, but Wiggier is valid, and it takes the front T-hook, which Khloe has just drawn, along with an X and a blank. So Orry is in very dire straits already.
Not just X and a blank, but Khloe drawing into a 7-letter bingo that plays with Twiggier on the next turn. That bingo, Toxical, Toxixial. There's really nothing Orry can do in this situation. You get bingoed on for 82, you have to play Gov for 15, and now Khloe about to drop, I think, her second consecutive bingo. Welcome to the stream, Orry. It's been fun. You had your little moment. Go sit back down.
Wow, toxical is such a counterintuitive word to me. Toxic, the IC, seems to be doing what the AL does in that word. It almost feels redundant to me, but you found it right away, and you can see Khloe's going to find it right away too.
She set it up. It's so hard to pull the trigger on any word in a high-stakes game. You start to second-guess everything you know, see, or have studied before. It's especially hard to think these through on stream. Khloe's going to take some time here. If she's even 99% on Toxical and she's able to find other bingos, it looks like this rack bingo's through an E. She needs to make sure she's making the correct decision here on rolling the dice on Toxical versus passing it up. But she takes the extra second, doesn't find any bingos through the E. Toxical with a blank A coming down for 95. Big sigh from Orry Swift, and that's all you can do. Sigh and tip your hat. 2 tough plays for Khloe. Wiggier, tough word to play. It looks good, but not 100%. Toxical, another tough word to play. She is 2 for 2, and she is ahead 177. to 15 over Texas's top player, Orry Swift.
Yeah, it's hard because you can't play scared, but you also can't phony. So you got to be sure when you're playing them. And Khloe made the right decision twice in a row, and she has a huge lead. Although Orry does have a more balanced rack. He does have the Q with the U, and he will have spots to be able to play it.
Yeah, Ori is a comeback machine. Now, he loves to play closed off Scrabble, but I have seen Ori overcome some ridiculous deficits. He is a master at shaping the board in such a way that benefits him. He's so good that usually he's ahead, and he closes things down because that benefits the player who's ahead. But Ori can also play open if he needs to. He just doesn't like to, and Ori is going to do everything he can to increase the variance in this game. At this point, you must get very lucky to win, but you must also have the spots to cash in at that luck. So Ori's going to spin the volatility in his favor here in some way. It looks like Ori is setting up DOM above Toxical for 26. That creates a bunch of high scoring opportunity if you have an A or an O to front hook DO. Great idea here from Orry, and he holds on to the prone for points EQSU leave. Even a Q bingo backhooking gov would score about 90. So Dom does a lot of the things. Orry scores 90 next turn a good amount of the time after a play like this. ROQUE from the R in Twiggear, another option, but that kind of feels like a rollover and die kind of play to me. It's very hard to get to the left side of the board after Roke. I don't know that you can do that here. You're just kind of losing after that play.
Yeah, this is so instructive by Ori. So many players, probably myself included, would have seen a Q play like Roke and just played it, but it doesn't do what you want for this board. Setting up an ES ending lane, if he plays, oh, I guess Dom doesn't set up an ES play, but it still does keep QUES to allow for really big plays going forward. Very instructive. I love learning as much as I'm supposed to be teaching.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff Ori's always been a master tactician at, adjusting your game from equity to the game state. Dom, a really nice way to do that. One other really fun play for Orry last turn, seldom through the L and Toxical. Fork the board wide open a triple, and hold QU together. But Dom, I think Ori's best play in this decision. After Dom, Khloe with a rack of vowels, AEIOOSV, wasting no time to play Aviso for 41, a standout play for her, 10 points better than any other option according to equity, and Khloe is not going to waste any of her precious clock on that. Aviso for 41. Khloe leads 218 to 41, and Orry on his rack, ADESQUW. We'll get to see Orry make another decision here. Qua and Adu is 41, but again kind of walls him in and decreases the variance in a game where he desperately needs variance. So we'll see if Orry cashes in for 40 or tries to keep this powerful QSU combination together one more time to see if he can hit the 100-pointer right now and catch up.
Yeah, he needed the K for squawked. That's not going to come down. Most players would have played quad by now. I love that he's still thinking, trying to find a different path. And I really like the idea of Seldom last turn. You could definitely hit triples with the QU through that S. And it's not a guarantee that Khloe's going to take out that spot. So that would have been a really creative play.
But it does give Khloe so much back through that S. She'd be able to drop AVIO for 36 points. It gives a ton back, but a series of tough turns and a tough start to a game for Orry. He is taking the points here. QUA makes it 81 to 218, but it's still going to be a very uphill climb for Orry. He'll need a bingo out of the bag this turn, or at the very least next, before he starts to feel his chances wrap up in this one. Khloe EEELMNO now gets to choose how she wants to approach this game. She can start trying to play defense and whacking lines shut, or she can turn on the jets and try to just race away from Orry. If you can put up 450 in a game, you're almost definitely going to win. So the play of Cleome, CLEOME for 22, opens this board up, but is such a solid equity play that that's a totally reasonable approach to Khloe. Otherwise, she may be looking to start shutting lines down. The play of Omen to the right side of Twiggier scores well and does that. Or a number of other options in this instance. She could just try to thwack some floaters and close up this board. What would you be looking to do here, Jared? Up 130, just close the board and win, or Cleone play long and run?
I've been saying it all stream that I tend to like to try and close, but I think the computer's definitely going to like playing longer there. I also think maybe you've been commentating too many CSW games saying play Omen to the right. IO, not in our lexicon here, but you could play Omen to the left of Twiggier, I suppose.
I think I just misspoke. Omen, yeah, Omen on the left side of Twiggier, not on the right side. But Omen does set up an S hook that I don't feel super good about, so I don't know. The other choice, Orry, oh, sorry, yeah, Venom. Okay, so Venom is going to obstruct those floaters pretty well. You worry a lot less if you're Khloe about Orry bingoing to the E, R, or G in Wiggier because you're going to have a huge counter. You just don't want him to bingo through those. So Venom obstructs a lot of those options, scores some points, works Khloe out of this rack. Good decision from her. ADESSUW, Ori's rack, is still down about 150 points after Khloe's bingo bango start to this game. He does have the A to front hook Aqua, so I could see a play like AW, AWE, or AWED, each coming down in that spot. Orry also has the three-letter WUD, which plays to the right side of Venom right now for 23. WUD in this lexicon does not take a back S or any other back hooks. That is a board closing play in a game where Orry is down, but it is a very solid equity play. Or, Jared, you think Orry grabs this equity and plays wood, or do you think he tries to access the left side with AW or one of the various forms of that word?
I would be playing AW. I don't like putting a word there that's not going to take the S. I think Khloe made a really clever play with Venom, one that I hadn't seen yet. She is playing really well on stream, and when she draws this well, she's going to be really tough. I am definitely leaning towards AW. I think you have to go for a bingo, and I think SSUED can definitely hit fairly often, although Chloe's going to start to look to obstruct even more this board.
Another tough turn for Orry, and I mean, your chances in this game are sub 10% already, just given the hot start Chloe's had, but you have to win this game to win this tournament, or I think Orry needs to win 9 in a row, so spread does not matter to him. Go out guns ablazing if you're Orry.
Absolutely. And he continues to take his time. Khloe is not giving him much of a read, sitting there as she's been the whole game. Just never seems to shuffle her tiles. You don't really get much of a read from Khloe, which is a really good skill to have. There's a lot of sort of that poker action that goes on in a Scrabble game.
I love my new club in San Antonio, but they give the most obvious tells about their draws all the time, and I am able to capitalize on that information. If you scoff or sigh when you draw, of course I'm going to open a triple next turn. So Khloe wisely giving Orry absolutely no information. I have the worst poker face in the world, but it is very much a skill in this game, and a skill she's demonstrating here. AW indeed the play for Orry, trying desperately to get over to the left side of the board or do anything in this bag to catch up, and into DESSU, a T and another E for him. Can't tell you right now what that does, but it looks promising, at least at first glance. AEEEHIL, the rack for Khloe. She continues to defend her lead, gets to make a similar decision to last turn. A CHELAE now down from the C. If she wants to score points and run away from Orry, she can also try to block off options once again this turn with this inflexible rack. I don't see good blocks here for Khloe, but I do see plays like GHEE from the G in Twiggier through the E in Venom. That's a good way to score points and not really open anything new up to Orry. Anything else jumping out to you here, Jared?
No, I'm still looking. I wonder if maybe the chat sees something that we don't. These turns are really tough because it's pretty easy to look for long words, look for the bingos, but obstructing is sort of a skill that not all players have. Like when you look to block, you have
Yeah,
to be very careful that you're not also giving up a new opportunity as much as what you're already blocking.
yeah, blocking is just something that comes with time. You have to play patterns over and over and over and just kind of realize, oh, this feels like it gets hit a lot. This doesn't feel like it gets hit a lot. It comes with time, but Khloe's had a lot of reps. She's been playing at a high level for a very long time, though recently stepping her game up to an even extra level. Wow, okay, so just a four tile play coming down from Khloe here.
Yeah, I think if she had seen that Chile suggestion, she would have played it. It's the same sort of idea. All of her shorter plays seem to just be giving up more. If she plays HIE, she plays HIE, they take back hooks. They're opening up new sections of the board. So this gives a bit of a lane, but not too scary of one. He could start a word Orry with a vowel next to the L, and then he would be able to reach the double word score. He could also have an S and go across to the triple, but I do understand what she played here.
So Cheel the hook or the play for Khloe, but this word does take a big back hook. In addition to the S, it takes a D, shield, and Orry has set up on his rack now DUES and shield, which is going to play for 35 and slot an S in a dangerous spot to bingo from. This does a lot of good things for Orry. He can also play in that same spot nudist from the NUDEST for 41 here. Doesn't slot the S in quite as dangerous a position, but does score 5 or 6 extra points. Jared, 6 points more for nudist, or put the S out in the dangerous spot?
No, I would put the S in the dangerous spot to try and bingo. I also think the T helps your lead. So I would personally be playing suit here. Sorry, dues here. You really want to be setting up lanes
GUES.
that you can hit big, and the S at the start of a word on the triple lane is a really good thing you could do for yourself here.
I'm hearing from our production team that we have a new bot live in chat just in time for the Scrabble Players Championship. So check that out. Cesar has dropped different bots in here that can do commands and just spit out what his computer says is the top option. DUES, the play coming down from Orry, does a lot of cool things. I would have grabbed the 6 extra points if I had seen them. Oh no, SUED coming down from Orry.
Yeah, he got scared of
Huh.
Shield. I also was scared of it. I saw that maybe there was a D, and I didn't want to suggest another bad hook like I've been doing all tournament here. So Ori also wasn't 100% sure, but when you're down big, I think that's when you can play words you're not so sure of, because the opponent in the lead doesn't want to lose that turn and give you another shot at it. So I think it's better to be more aggressive there.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, you need to win turns if you're down. It's so hard for a player leading in a game to challenge a word. I think if you're even 50-50 on shield, play it and let Khloe make that decision. It's so hard for her to challenge. She can't lose a turn. That's how we let Ori catch up. So, potentially a missed opportunity there. I don't know why he backed out or talked himself out of Shield, but it is easy to second guess decisions. It's very hard to play on stream. So I understand that one for sure from Ori. I never even seen that word. I would have missed it 100%. AKEE, a great play from Khloe as she tries to weave out of 2 A's and 3 E's on her rack. 22 points keeps the scoring pressure on 276 to 137. Khloe's lead after that play. DEEHSTT on Ori's rack. He still will not bingo in this game.
The first thing I see here is that AKEE takes the front R hook. So Khloe, I hope that she noticed that, because that's a big thing you're opening up there. She probably still had to play it. I didn't really see much else. And going down, the lanes aren't as scary, but that is a big hook. And now Ori, all of a sudden, the board had seemed pretty closed a couple turns ago. but now he has that big R hook and the D on the right side of the board, and you can bingo on the right side of Venom or the left side of Twiggier. So this board is now conducive to a comeback.
You're not ever going to see Orry Swift roll over and die in a game. There are some games we call up here in the booth where it feels like it's decided after game 6 or 7 because a player falls behind and the board is not conducive to a catch-up. If Orry falls behind, you know the board is going to be conducive to a catch-up. I feel like especially North American players, we are so committed to the computer and doing what the engine says. We are so afraid to deviate from the equity. Orry has never been afraid to do that. Orry will never be afraid to do that. He's going to shape the board. He'll leave equity on the table to do it. He plays to win the game. He's doing that again here. Great choice by Orry. You want as many high-scoring options on the board. You want as many lines to bingo for 90 or 100 as you can, and he has nicely set up a double-double line with a good leave. KHET, another heads-up play from Orry.
Khloe can now set up her Z here. She could play something like Phi, F-I-E to the right of Ket, and that would form T-I, and T-I takes that back Z. So when you're ahead by a lot, you're not normally looking for setup plays. Would you consider a route like that here, Matt?
FIE obstructs the double-double line. It sets up Fez on one side and Zit on the other. That is awesome, but also awesome is this play here. This play wins the game. You don't need to get fancy or technical when you're ahead in a situation like this. Just playing Fizz or a play like Ziram, Z-I-R-A-M, through the disconnected RM at the bottom, I think is a better path to victory. You don't need to be cute when you're ahead by this. Just score, and scoring Khloe does. 42 points for Fizz.
She also left a whole bunch of vowels, and now if you look at her rack, she doesn't have any consonants. Yeah, Phi, I was looking on the right side, but quite clearly on the left side, setting up Zit and Fez, that would have been really special if it stayed open, of course. So now Khloe with 7 vowels, you know, Orry's still down about 160, but there's at least some hope.
There was some hope for Orry, but he needed to draw a bingo. I've been saying that for 4 turns. Orry needs to draw the bingo now, and instead he's found 6 consonants in this game, still unable to hit the big play. But he's got the board set up now that if he draws a bingo, he's going to be able to play it, and he's going to be able to score a lot with it. Just needs to convert the last part of his plan. In the interim, he's got another frustrating decision. Nothing stands out as a good option. There are not a lot of points for Orry to score here, and he's keeping a lot of good leaves with most of his plays, but time is running out in this game. Delph or Delft look to be good options here. Get down to the bottom portion of the board. Orry putting the T on the end rather than holding it. This will set up his S. Now he's going to flex. I have the T to back hook this Khloe. Do something. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was flexing as much as changing his mind, but he did give Khloe a bit of extra information there as he hits the clock. He also hung on to that R for the Reiki hook that I mentioned. So RST is a great leave. Let's see if he can finally pull the proper draw. He's been playing so well, and he really deserves some nice tiles here, don't you think?
He does, but Scrabble is an unjust game. We'll see where the tile bag takes him.
So for Khloe here, the Y, the one sort of consonant, and then all these vowels, are you looking to exchange here, or do you see a play that makes it worth playing through, even just AYE to the left of Twiggier, perhaps?
I do want to score points in this instance. I don't want to score nothing. Yeah, it's a little bit scary to get bogged down by vowels, but if you look at the unseen distribution, just 12 vowels, 26 consonants, and if I pulled 2 more vowels in the nightmare situation here, well, now Orry has almost no vowels left in this game, so I do feel okay trying to play through this rack. Khloe opting for AA in this instance. I may have tried to score a few extra points, AYE, or the nice YAH to the H in Shields. I think better options, but 98% plus to win this game no matter what you do if you're Khloe. Given that you know Orry has the T on his rack, this play feels fine as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think one of the main reasons she played that is he had just flashed the tee. She knows that's sort of the lane he's going for. So if he was trying to flex, maybe it sort of worked against him, or maybe that's what he wanted, her to over adjust as he sets up Jut on the right side of his rack there.
Yeah, Jut's going to be a really nice play here for Orry. It's unlikely, but you need unlikely. You need miracles to happen in this instance, and JUT allows a O something S bingo to fit down, ONS or something like that. So it doesn't completely close off this board, creates a tough to block line that Orry has all the goodies to hit. Again, though, Orry needs to execute the last part of this plan and actually draw a bingo for once.
Yeah, even bingos ending in OS are not going to score that much. And on the second from the bottom row, it allows a lot of counterplay. So it's sort of a play he has to make, but it's not one he's going to be too thrilled with.
The other thing maybe he can do is just play JUT on top of a key. That's only 22 points, but that J in space is going to be annoying. The problem is Khloe's flashing vowels and AJI or AJEE through the G, and it's basically, or through the J, and it's basically GG. So I think Jut sort of backed into making this play in the absence of other good plays. It does enough of the right things for Orry that he can't feel bad about making this play. Jut comes down 334 to 209. Khloe's lead. AEEINOY on her rack. She still has vowels, as one would expect, as she tried to fight through a rack of 7 vowels last turn, has 6 on this rack. AIYEE and ZA is awesome, and AIYEE and ZA is Khloe's play here. 21 more points for her.
Yeah, that's what I would have played too. In Scrabble, sometimes there's certain words where if they're on your rack, they're probably the right play. In this case, a chance to get rid of, let's call it 4.5 vowels. And she gets to go towards the other blank. And if she's able to pull it, she could not only win this game, but really add a lot of spread.
This has to be a strange looking play for Orry as he's sitting on all the consonants over and over. And he's like, come on, you've got all of them. Let me draw one more vowel, and I could maybe bingo. But this has just not been Orry's game. I hate when you get someone on stream for the first time and they're not able to show you the depth of their abilities. But Orry really with no case to showcase or no chance to showcase almost anything the way he's been drawn in this game.
I think he has shown a lot. Right from that first term of Dom, he's really played a different way than I think a lot of players would have. I think a lot of us would have played Roque, ROQUE, and I think for many reasons, Dom just seems a lot smarter. So even when everything's against you, you can still show how good you are with really subtle differences.
And again, I can't emphasize enough that most other players, I'm just sitting here trying to tell personal stories for 40 minutes in this game, but Orry giving himself a fighting chance with almost every play he makes. Willing to deviate from equity, from computer analysis, going with his gut, his brain, and what he thinks is going to win the game. But at some point, you've got to draw those miracle plays you're setting up, and he has not done any of that so far this game.
Yeah, against lower rated players, you can claw back, but when you go against a player of Khloe's caliber and she opens with Whittier and then Toxical, it is almost game over right from that spot. His winning percentage had to be below 10, maybe even below, I don't know about below 5, but I would probably guess he was in the 5 to 10% win percent chance already after only 2 turns.
Yeah, it's generally not a good idea to be less than 10% to win a game after 2 turns. Take that one home, Orry, and think about it. Just kidding. Nothing Orry could have done. He's doing his very best in this one. But Khloe too good and pulling the trigger on these tough to pull the trigger on words. She's done all the right things this game.
Yeah, and you might want to let Orry know that he's allowed to draw more than one vowel at a time.
I will text him right now, actually. Orry was my pre-tournament pick to win this event. The amount of prep I know he's been doing, but you can't just prepare well. You have to play well, and you have to draw well to win a nationals. There are a lot of great players in the room. You're going to have to outdraw some of them because there are so many players you can't really outplay. the Mac Millers, the Jackson Smileys, the freaks in the room. The Khloe Fatsis is in the room as well. She's been playing phenomenal on stream all tournament long.
And another thing is, as the tournament enters this stage, there are repeats. So the top players are going to be playing each other over and over. Earlier in the tournament, we don't allow repeats, so players are playing new players. So you might be able to play someone a bit lower in the standings. But at this point, if you're near the top, you're going to be playing the other top players the rest of the way.
Yeah, and repeats are opening up at this stage in the tournament. We have another very exciting repeat coming. Our last game of today, round 21, is going to be a repeat between number 1 and number 2 in this NWL division, nearly wire to wire. That would be Seth Lipkin and Mac Miller. That's the game we're broadcasting to close out the day. That one's going to be huge.
Yeah, I told you how the players had started to differentiate themselves with the 1-game lead between Mac to Ian to Seth. So huge implications for pretty much any game forward at this point. As Khloe has set up
Mac
on her rack, which would fit right below Jot and would score very nicely, play off 6 tiles. It would give up some easy responses, but she can deal with easy responses here. This looks like a great idea and would give her 6 draws to go for that other blank.
Say what you will about this approach, but you want to hold on to this lead and end this game, and playing 6 tiles off is going to rush to the end of this game. It's going to give Orry fewer opportunities to draw his miracles that he's going to need. So this is a cool idea from Khloe, but I think this a little more standard, a lot safer, a really nice decision here. PYIC is 36 points. NNO with 3 unseen ends is not the best leave, but take no chances, score a ton of points right now. PYIC has no back hooks, and that's a great play here from Khloe.
Yeah, I hadn't found that one yet. That does look really nice to me. And she didn't draw the blank, but she drew a nice balanced rack, and that'll be enough for her. Does Noontide, I guess, doesn't fit, not even close, but just having balanced tiles is pretty much all she needs at this point.
Yeah, you can't get caught with 7 vowels if Orry opens the board. You can't get caught with 7 consonants if Orry opens the board. And while this rack's not going to be super fun to play out of, the fact that you're able to play and deal with any threat Orry opens up next turn is really all you need to defend this kind of lead.
Yeah, there's not too much left to say in this one. I'm not quite sure what Orry's approach is going to be, but like you said, he's not going to give up. It looks like he's deciding on lots. Just this points here. This looks like I'm giving up on the game. Going to cut into some of the spread. Do you agree with that?
I think lots gives you at least a little bit of a chance. If you make this dots or play something that has even more back hooks, like the D above this triple word, Khloe's going to hit it every time. But the lots, it just takes AIO. Maybe if Khloe's just got E's and U's or a few vowels on his rack, on her rack rather, there's potential that she's just unable to do anything. I like that he's put the L there instead, set him up to maybe draw an ITE bingo. But instead, Orry's going to reach in this bag and find, is that more garbage? Looks like more garbage.
1 vowel at a time. I think that's what he thinks all you're allowed to draw. Khloe's going to quickly play note, underlapping 3 times, scoring a lot of points, holding ION. So no matter what she draws, she'll be able to play something. She's in a commanding position in this one.
1 vowel at a time. I don't think I've seen a player draw this bad on stream all tournament. Welcome, Orry. Orry is a good friend of mine. He and I go way, way back in the Texas tournament scene. He's been playing since he was a teenager. I've been playing since I was a teenager. We spend nights at each other's houses and each other's hot tubs. We're very close like that. Orry hates playing on stream. He's let me know that. Not that he's ashamed of his brand or anything, but there's a little extra pressure, a little extra expectation. And for Orry's first game on stream, which he notably hates doing, he just gets absolutely destroyed by the tile bag. Tough one.
And now Khloe's going to bingo out on him, if I'm not mistaken. His 5 tiles, I think, empties the bag. And Khloe will have her pick of bingos here to put away what was a blowout pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah, adoring, orating, other bingos playing on the left side, a triple word square. Those are going to be 80, and an emphatic end to an emphatic game from Khloe. If she plays the highest scoring bingos here, the final is going to be 520 to 298, a victory over 200 points from the top player from Texas. Khloe shows no signs of slowing down in this one, cementing her place in the top four. What a showing.
Yeah, Orry can't even look at the board. He's just looking up to the sky saying, what did I do to deserve this one? He's been so close to the title so many times, especially in the last couple of years. It's just frustrating. He did so many good things in this game, but at the end of it, is he challenging Adoring here?
Absolutely, he's challenging Adoring.
Okay, well, it's in his right. It doesn't cost him any points. I guess he might as well, but uh, there are some words I would challenge at the end of the game. This is not one of them.
Or he's just doing it to embrace the last 8 seconds of relevance in this tournament. I'm sure he did a great deal of preparation for this one, but with so much talent in the field, one by one, excellent players are still going to be eliminated. This, I think, the final gasp from Orry. He's shut down by Khloe. Fatsis steamrolled by Khloe Fatsis. 520 to 298. Khloe never had to worry about getting walled in because she was up by 200, wire to wire in this one. Big win for her.
Cesar is writing that he's challenged to play before just to give himself a chance to take a deep breath. So maybe that's what Orry was thinking here. Orry, I think, is looking up some words here to see if he missed anything, but I guess he's looking up Shield and he's pointing at the spot, but that's not what cost him this game. Drawing one vowel per rack is what cost him this game.
One vowel on nearly every rack Orry had for the second half of this game. Not much you could do, not much we're going to get from a post-mortem in a blowout like this. So we're going to get ready to cut away to a small break. I've got to get outside and pump myself up. A huge game coming in the NWL field. Mac Miller, Seth Lipkin, first and third coming into this round. Major playoff ramifications coming up. We will be right back with that one. Buckle up.